Hello. Episode 5 of what we're going to call now is the No Name Podcast because we don't have an actual name for it. So welcome back again. I've got, I think, soon to be friend.
We don't know yet.
We the power of social media. Sam Stone of Louisville, Kentucky Real Estate on Instagram. Is that right?
That is it.
And then at Sam Stone Realtor. I figured that was
yeah. I'm sure it's there somewhere.
So Sam Stone, fellow real estate professional here in Louisville, Kentucky. Are you just licensed in Louisville? Or?
Just in Louisville, yeah. Okay. Just in Kentucky, I mean. So, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about who you are, how long you've been in real estate. You know, who is Sam Stone?
It's a good question. Well, first off, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I've watched a few episodes that have been out, and I've really enjoyed it. It's fun. We were just talking beforehand. We literally met 5 minutes ago,
right?
Maybe.
Exactly.
So we don't know. It's fun because I actually brought my own list of questions to kind of lean in on to get to know you better. Because, it's just fun to branch off. You said in a previous episode, it's fun to go across, and we don't work at the same brokerage.
Absolutely.
But in this industry, it's just so important to go across the aisle, be friends with people who share your struggle of nobody knows, like, losing out a deal at the last second, like another fellow real estate agent.
Exactly.
As much as I talk to my wife about it, on how hard it is, she does not understand it. And so,
my wife's in real estate, so
so yours does.
Too much.
Yours does.
Yeah.
But you have your own other problems with that. Yeah. But so thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
And it's really cool, and it's cool to just be able to sit down with other people and do that. So Sam Stone. I'm from Louisville here. I grew up here, loved it. Grew up off Factory Lane. I went to Christian Academy of Louisville, and I went there my whole life. Always loved Louisville. Ended up going to college in Virginia.
What college?
Liberty University. So I went there. I know you used to be a baseball coach. I went there originally to play baseball.
Did you really?
It was like a preferred walk-on. I don't know who preferred it, but I wasn't good.
Yeah.
So I went there for that. And
I had to pay a lot of money to go play college baseball.
Yeah, that's what I wasn't getting no help.
Right.
But so went there for that. Loved it. Stayed there. Didn't play baseball much. Just was going to redshirt my freshman year and quit.
Where is Liberty?
Dead center of Virginia. So Lynchburg, Virginia.
Lynchburg, that's what I thought.
So beautiful in the Appalachian Mountains, beautiful sunsets, similar weather-wise to Louisville, which is cool.
So we have another similarity we didn't know about. I went to King College, which is in Bristol, Tennessee.
Oh, no way.
I mean, the same swath of
not far at all.
Yeah, exactly.
So went to school there, loved it. Thought I was going to be a pastor, which is funny enough. My dad's a pastor. And so thought I was going to be a pastor. Went to school for pastoral leadership, got a degree in that, started a master's in Christian ministries, and worked after school there at the university. And they invest a bunch of the endowment in real estate, which is super interesting.
Okay.
And so
basically to save the endowment fund, not to save it, but to make money with it, they put it in.
So most colleges have or universities have their hands tied with endowments to where if somebody gives that money, they have stipulations on how it needs to be invested or where it can be used or has to be used for certain things. And so Liberty has a big online presence, so they bring in the money that way, and they choose to invest a lot of it in real estate. They still do traditional methods too. So kind of got bitten by the bug that way. I fell into it, was working with the vice president of real estate there, and started digging into real estate stuff more, really got interested in it, and thought I was going to be a pastor. Was working at the school's a nonprofit, so was working at the school, and I was like, thought I was going to be in the nonprofit world my whole life. And 2020, COVID hit. We ended up moving back here pretty quickly. Didn't know what I was going to do. Moved to Louisville, moved in with my parents with a 6-month pregnant wife.
Oh man.
And no job. And I was like, what am I going to do? And I loved real estate.
Yeah.
But as you remember, 2020 was an interesting time.
We went to our house in Florida and thought, oh, y'all better enjoy this because everything's going to come to a screeching halt and we're going to have to sell everything.
So did that, moved back here, started real estate in worked at a church here for Southeast for a little bit.
All right.
And was seeing if that was the right fit for me. It wasn't. I just really was, really wanted to start my own business and do, as you seem to have the same mindset of work. It's not a sit behind a desk type of attitude. Right. And so this is about as much as I sit behind a desk this hour of today.
Well, I was talking to Michael earlier today. I was like, my kids want to go see a movie, which I don't necessarily love, but I was like, maybe I could turn off my phone and sit in a dark place for an hour.
2.5 hours.
Yeah, 2.5 hours, however long.
And not get up halfway through the movie to go to the bathroom and check my phone.
Yep, right.
So long story short, got into real estate then. 2020, start of 2022 was when I started real estate.
Okay.
So yeah.
So 2 years in.
Yeah. 2.5 years.
2.5 years. So you've got 2 full years under your belt.
Yeah.
And 2 of them well, probably one of the bullish markets we had, and then into one of the what I would call bipolar markets that we had, where we started off with a bullish Q1, Q2, and then 3 and 4, kind of just. So, how's your production through the change in the market? And let me preface this with, I don't have a deficit mindset. It's a very abundant mindset. There's still plenty of transactions out there. Anyone that says the real estate market is slowing down is incorrect.
They're just pricing things wrong.
Exactly.
Like that. If your house is sitting on the market too long, so it's been great. It's when you have no expectations coming into it. My goal was to sell 4 million my first year.
Okay,
I was like, that would be why. That was my BHAG. Like 4 million would be crazy.
But BHAG, I can't believe you brought that up. Big hairy audacious goal.
Yeah. Big hairy audacious goal.
Do you remember who brought that to mainstream reality?
I don't remember.
I don't either.
It's
a bunch of leadership stuff. All of a sudden.
So my BHAG.
Your stretch goal.
Stretch. Didn't think I would get there. The first 6 months were really hard. That's the other thing. It was like, I thought I would be the exception. Everybody thinks they're the exception.
Right.
Everyone tells you 6 months to a year to get rolling. And I was like, I'll be the exception.
Exactly.
And I was not.
Right.
And I had a new baby at home, and I really wanted my wife to be at home and not have to work. And I think that season really just pushed me to A, work harder, B, plant more seeds. And so I planted seeds for 6 straight months.
Right.
Everywhere I could. And it's been really cool just to see the way that over the last 2 years that seeds I planted 2.5 years ago are blooming now. And it's, so it's been, business has been great. First year I sold 7 million. And that was all in the second half of 2022.
So your goal was 4, you hit 7.
Yeah.
Pretty much
7.
Yep.
And I'm a numbers guy. You talked about it earlier I geek out on the numbers. I try to make myself only check the rankings report monthly, or else I get too into it.
Yeah.
So I'm a numbers guy. So 7 million first year.
So that's 2022.
Yeah. And that was 24 transactions.
Okay.
So that was averaged at 291.
Nice.
Then, 2023, 8 listings, 22 buyers.
Okay.
333 average. And then so far in 2024, 10 listings, 13 buyers, 23 transactions so far.
Nice.
I'm at 9.26 million.
Just under 2 quarters. What do you have pending?
Probably 1.5 million.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's you're gonna, what was your goal this
It was
year?
15 this year.
15 listing,
so
15 million.
total. Yeah. Million.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
my goal was 40 transactions at 15 million at 400.
Nice. Perfect. Man, you've hit on some things I want to come back to for sure. Let's start. Well, actually, we want to come back to them. We talk about this business, and it's simple, not easy. Do you realize what has happened in short 3 years? You took the 6-month burn time to lay seeds, which I think it was smart. I don't know if you did it intentionally or not.
No, it was not intentional.
It was
anti-intentional.
Anti-intentional. You know your numbers. A lot of real estate professionals don't know their numbers. They're literally picking up, the fruit, the low-hanging fruit, whatever's coming their way versus going out and getting it. And then 2, you're almost at a 50-50 listing to buy ratio in your 3rd year. Have you ever thought about that?
That's the thing I've been most excited about, because everything I've listened to, I'm still green in the industry is the ones who list last, you know what I mean? And when you hear that, it's like, okay, when we come into a different market like this, as the way we connected with social media, and that's what I had a bit of a marketing background that I did for the university. And so I loved that section. And so when I got into real estate, you said the Louisville KY real estate tag.
Yeah.
I made that a year before I got into real estate.
Nice.
So I didn't have my name attached to anything.
Yeah.
I just decided, I was like, I want to have a channel to post to, because nobody wants to use a new agent. And so I want to have a channel to post to that can show that I can make some connections in the market. So
exactly.
The second I got my real estate license, I had 2,500 followers on that account who were people either agents already or people actively looking in
for you.
Louisville.
Yep.
And so then when I switched it over to me, that was in 2022 or late 2021. I was able to at least, people come up to me and they're like, how long have you been in the market? 5-6 years? I'm
Right.
like, 1.5, 2, 2.5, you know?
Well, again, we met 5 minutes ago,
Yeah.
and 15 minutes now, and I don't think I even looked up to see, how long you've been. So I wouldn't have been surprised if you said 8.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised that you said 2.5. So kudos to you. But again, we feel like we know each other.
Yeah.
That's the power of social media, right? We have a preconceived notion of who each other are,
Yeah.
and that's the same thing. You do a great job on social media. I actually ripped off some of your stuff. So we hired a brand ambassador to kind of start doing a better job on our social. And
Yeah.
the first thing he did is like, "Do you know this guy?" I'm like,
No.
Yeah. He's like, "'Cause some of the stuff
That's
he's doing
awesome.
is really good."
That's awesome.
And then so we recreated one. That was probably our biggest Instagram reel that we did.
Oh,
was
good.
the thing where you're like, when you first meet a new client, and then by the time you close, you're like best friends.
Yeah. You walk out and I
yeah.
have like my son on my fishing pole.
Yeah.
Do you like to fish?
I don't. Oh, I don't have the patience to fish. I should.
It's a lot of fun.
Right.
There's something about the question of it's all problem solving, and it's like you have no clue if you are a half-inch twitch away from getting the absolute monster of a lifetime on the line, or
Right.
like that's the fun part.
Yeah.
It's all
who knows?
yeah.
There was a season in my life that I did like fishing.
Yeah.
I say I don't. We bought a farm in it's actually in Shelby County. It had about a 3-acre pond on it.
No way.
I would go out there for hours and hours and hours and catch nothing. Maybe a carp and a turtle. There was one turtle in there. A friend taught me. What was it? Is it a jink? A Cinco worm?
Yeah.
They're like salt impregnated and
Yeah.
some kind of. I would literally just
Hammer
pull
it.
out 8, 12-inch bass like anytime I dropped it in there after that.
That's awesome.
It's crazy. Yeah. Anywho, so we got no, I don't fish. We're both.
Do you still have the farm?
No, we sold it.
Oh, I was gonna see if I could fish it.
Right. You'd love it. They were some monsters in there.
That's funny. Farm ponds are where it's at.
That's what I hear. And
Farm ponds are where the studs are at.
that's why I was talking to my buddy that was a fisherman, and he's like, what are you catching out there? I was like, dude, I ain't catching anything. He said,
And I'm guessing you didn't have catfish.
I never caught a catfish.
So if you don't have catfish and
catfish-
bass are competing for the same
Right.
food. So if you don't have catfish, those bass can get big.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of a pond turning over?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that is
Smell?
Oof.
Yeah.
I drove up there, and I was like, what is that on the bank? It was vultures. And anyways, I digress. All right. So you planted seeds. You're really good on social media. So here's this thing that I have in my mind when I talk to agents. They're saying they're doing all their lead generating from social media. Mm-hmm. So are you lead generating from social media? Are you marketing or prospecting?
Yeah. I tell people social media is my shotgun spray to my audience.
Nice.
So it is, luckily, I went down the road kind of accidentally, and I didn't have the funds for it, of not buying leads early on. And so I didn't buy leads, have never gone down that road to pay for leads for clients. And so it kind of forced me to, okay, what's my avenue to meet people and connect with people? And like you and Michael were talking about on the previous episode, even sit downs like this to where you feel like if you ran into Joe Rogan in public, you feel like we could talk to him and have a conversation because we know we hear 3 hours a week if you listen to his podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
And you feel like you know him. And so social media for me is like, I want to be my genuine self.
Right.
I don't want to be somebody I'm not. And I want to give off the vibe that I am extremely approachable and knowledgeable in the market, obviously.
Right.
And so,
And you do that. Kudos.
thank you. So, and it feels like so many people have the connotation real estate agents don't work.
Right.
And it's like, you can go talk to my wife if you think real estate agents don't work. But if it shows like, oh, you actually are working and extremely hard.
Right. And that's one of those, we're licensed professionals. A lot of people, and again, I think we're our own worst enemy, and that market that we just came out of where it made more sense to buy real estate than hold on to cash because of the cheapness of money. But and it's just a season of business, right? We're going to have ups and downs. There's going to be ins and outs, and we'll have less realtors now because it got a little tougher.
Yeah.
And
I heard it's down to under 5,000 now. It was over 7, and now it's under 5.
Greater Louisville Association of Realtors under 5. Nationally, I think we've lost like almost 100,000 agents in the last 4 quarters.
Which is wild with it being a 2-year renewal period.
Right.
That's just now.
Yeah.
Like it could be under 3 in a year.
Exactly. When we first started, when I first started paying attention to that, there's like 3,800 realtors. And there was like 6,000 listings on the board because it was coming out like 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
I would die for that many.
When did you start real estate?
That was a weird, probably 13, 14, something, about 10 years. Yeah. My wife started about almost 20 years ago. So we were both teachers to start, and I coached baseball and had a landscaping company. She bartended and did real estate. And then we got to a point, she's like, we're leaving too much money on the table.
Yeah.
Like, get out of that. We need to do this. So, all right. I like to talk about 3 Ps. What brings you peace, purpose, and profit?
Ooh, it's cool. Love the alliterations. Peace. Well, I love doing stuff like this. I was more energized. I had a closing this morning. I was so much more excited to come to this and do this than I was to close on the house. I was excited to close, but this re-energizes me. Peace in general, I would say I love fishing, I love hunting, and I love golf. It's really fun, as you know, tying hobbies to, not obviously, like, it's fun being able to sell to absolutely everybody. When you pick a job that you're not a medical salesman, that you have to sell to these 12 doctors, the only ones in the world who use that device. Yep. It's fun that every single person that I can fish with, golf with, or hunt with needs to buy a house.
Needs a house. Yeah.
And so it's like,
is it Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Like, shelter is right up there.
Yeah, it's up there. Yeah. Food might be first.
Yep.
Maybe. But so that's I really enjoy getting with guy friends. I just got back from a golf trip to Alabama with a bunch of buddies, and it's like that was really fun. That brings peace. Fishing. We were talking about fishing earlier. I really enjoy that. Those are my favorite things. And then I enjoy. I do late night work. So I do most of my behind the computer note writing, all those type things later at night when my phone is not going off, because I just can't focus during the day and try to bounce around.
I'm an early morning. I got to do
really.
I probably get it on most days. Get a majority of my work done before 8 a.m.
That's good.
Because if not, once my kids get up and we get going, there's distractions abundantly. So I can't do the night. I used to be able to. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, I might have to switch one day. For now, it's nights. So that's the time that brings me peace. Is 10 o'clock. Kids are to bed. Can sit down and actually push through some things.
So you have 2 kids.
2 kids. Got a 3.5-year-old Rhodes. He's awesome son. And then a 3-month-old, almost 4-month-old little girl. So,
nice.
Yeah, and my wife's at home with them. She's awesome.
Yep. Wives are important. All right. So what about profit? Obviously, real estate. Like,
there's a second one in there. What was the second one?
I skipped to purpose.
What brings? You want me to go profit first?
Yeah. It's all connected.
What brings profit? Are you meaning just monetarily, or
how do you see your business going? Obviously you're talking about listings. Do you think you'll be a sales professional your entire life? Do you think you'll get more into, obviously you have a knack for consulting and teaching and the social media aspect. And so there's so many that's what's beautiful about real estate. It is it's like the gateway drug to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, that's true. So, it really is. Yeah. No, it's a good question. If I didn't see myself in real estate long term, I would be out of it now. You know what I mean? It's hard to not have a long term mindset with it. And I think I'm still just green enough to still want to do it forever.
Right.
I love it, and it really is fun. Obviously, as business, as I've been blessed with more business, it's been it changes your mindset a little bit with things, and it's yes, I could run around for a $100,000 house and show it 18 times and do that, and which I still obviously sell. I'd happy to sell anything, but the time with family is extremely important, and figuring out what to balance that is tough. But yeah, future, long term, I see myself doing this, and I really love teaching. Obviously, I don't have. It's more like you guys talked on the podcast. Yeah. I keep mentioning that because I watched it last night. Okay. So to me, it's very recent. It might have been a few weeks ago for you all. But you talked on the podcast about learning with someone. And I'm 28 years old. Right. So no, I don't have a wealth of knowledge in real estate. Yeah. But I do know this market better than anybody else. Okay. And I've sold more houses in this market than 95% of real estate agents in
Exactly.
Louisville. And so that's the fun thing for me is like, learn with me as I learn this market. And there's going to be somebody who's sold more houses than me, but there's a handful of people who have sold more in this market than me.
Right.
And I have the ability to, and I've done it all solo,
Yeah.
Which is, when it comes down to numbers, there's not many who've actually
Done it
single-handedly sold solo more than I have, which is cool.
I go kind of put me in a rabbit hole. The world I'm in is like there's a couple here at the brokerage that I'm at. We talk about models, right? And the single agent model is the most profitable. Like your margins, it's like an owner operator, right?
Yeah.
You won't ever do 200 transactions. You might do 200 transactions, but that's a lot. But it's the most profitable. Your profit margin is a lot higher in the single agent model than if you're on a team or own a team.
Yeah.
But each one of those models has a different
Of course.
pro and con, right? You trade time for margin and things like that. So would you say? I'm guessing, kind of like it's the service of the clients that really kind of gets you going in this.
Yeah, I honestly the fun. I enjoy working with buyers. The fun of seeing the difference of what a good real estate agent can make. That's the fun. That's honestly what gets me going. Is like one of my best friends called me. It was like, hey, I want to live in this neighborhood. There's like 15 houses on the street.
Yep.
I go,
okay,
we'll see.
Yeah,
and they don't sell very often. And we looked at one of them and it wasn't the right fit. And it was like, he was like, I want to live in this neighborhood. And it's like, I called the HOA manager, dug things up, ended up finding out from the HOA manager that there's this random person that's thinking about listing down the road. Call them directly, find their number on Forewarn, back looking up, and
Good
up
job.
there ends up the wife picks up. And long story short, we end up closing a couple months later off market. And it's like my buddy's in his dream house in his neighborhood. And it's like, that's what gets me going.
Right.
Like, if you just call a random agent off of Zillow or some random site, that's not going to happen.
Right.
But when you can truly know people, you can know what they want, and then you can also know what works in today's market.
Yeah.
It's wild how it's not rocket science to be a good agent.
Well, it's not. It's again, it's simple, not easy.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So we talk. We do 5 things: lead generate, lead follow up, negotiate contracts, practice your craft, and take care of your paperwork. That's all we. That's if you focus on those things, especially with a majority of it on the lead generation side, and that's all you did.
Yeah.
I mean, your client
didn't have paperwork to do.
Yeah. None of that. Yeah. If you're not finding leads and people to work with, all that other stuff doesn't matter. But you did the activities that a lot of people aren't willing to do. I mean, you went to the HOA. Probably how many phone calls did you have to make before you found
I made a few before I found the right person. Yeah.
Everybody poo-poos like open houses and door knocking and
Open houses are the best thing since sliced bread for me. I love open houses.
Yeah, how many do you do?
As many as I can.
Okay.
Yeah, I plan Sunday afternoon is an open house time, and I'm 1 out of 2.5 to 1 out of 3 average closing from an open house.
Really?
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
And that's, I mean, so are you doing it on your own listings, or you
I'll do them on my own listings or other people's in my office, and
But every Sunday afternoon you're going to do an open house.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
I'd say maybe it probably ends up being 2.5 a month because it just depends on what's listed and
Right.
But yeah, I just enjoy them. Like I tell new agents, I'm like, you want to be around people who want to buy houses who like that's what you want to be around.
Right.
There's people who want to buy houses who are walking like that's all they do.
Well, the only people that come to open houses are nosy neighbors.
They buy houses.
they have to have a house.
They buy houses.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is nosy neighbors are the best when you have a listing because they'll drive prices up like nothing else. They're walking around, everyone's like, "Oh, this place is packed."
Right. Well, you have that. You build a connection. You build rapport.
Yeah.
Where else are at any given time are you going to have 5, 10, 20 people that one are very interested in real estate, quite possibly could be interested in buying a house now, where you can develop a relationship with.
Yeah, I'm working on one right now. We close next week where it's worked on a open house for a buddy in my office, and he had me go do it, and I did not want to do it that day. I thought it was the biggest dud ever. And like 2 people came through. Long story short, 2 weeks later, a couple calls me back and says, "Hey, we had a great we were talking about Chevy trucks versus Ford trucks."
Right.
And I drove a Chevy and he drove a Chevy. And we're making fun of the other guy drove a Ford. And it was like, he calls back and he's like, "Hey, we just went through this open house. We want to write an offer on it." I hadn't even seen the house yet. I'm like, and they were like, we just had a great connection at that open house back a couple months ago. I'm like, awesome. I'll help you write it up.
Yeah.
And so now I've obviously been in it since,
Yeah.
and we've run through inspections and all that. But that's the fun part for me.
Are you a systematic nurturer of your database?
Yeah, I could definitely be better at it.
Right.
My touches are, like I mentioned before, shotgun spray, social media. I don't do direct mail usually. The thing I do is my like rifle precision is handwritten notes. Started that after reading Ninja Selling. That book changed my mindset pretty dramatically when I read it. And so once it said write 2 handwritten notes a day and to your database, and you can do this. And I was like, I wonder what happened if I wrote 4. And I was like, okay. And so I just leaned into it, and it was like, I remember the people who take time to write notes to me. And I always ask people, I'm like, how many notes did you get last year? Maybe 5 that weren't like, hey, use business with me, but you remember who they were. And so I do that for, it's fun. That's why I do it at night. It's like, it's fun. It's fun to connect with people. It's like you see somebody and see something pop up on Facebook and they're having a baby. It's like, congrats. Like that's awesome. And it's better than a text, in my opinion.
So I totally agree. We've got a couple newer agents that have gotten started, and I'm like, what can you do when everybody else is sleeping that can create business for you? Schedule posts on social media, handwritten notes. You write that whenever you want, drop it in the mail.
Put it in the mailbox.
It's going to show up 3 or 4 days later.
There's nothing better than it's working for you.
Right.
It's like I got a text yesterday from a buddy, and he was like, dude, how'd you get my address? Thanks so much for this car. I can't believe that was so nice. And I was like, I completely forgot I sent that one because that was back last week. And it's just.
So I met somebody the other day in a training she's been in real estate, I think 25 years. And she learned this from Gary Keller, but she had a little index box. And anytime she got someone's information, she wrote it all down, put it in a box, right? And before it went in the box, she had to send a handwritten note.
Oh, really?
And so she sends a handwritten note, put it in the box. And then every morning, she put it in the back. And every morning, she would take 2, write a handwritten note,
awesome.
put 2 in the back. And then, so that's how she systematically, now
I'm not that systematic at all.
But think how easy that is. And if you had 200 people in there, that's, 3 times a year you're writing them something. So
it's so, like you said, it's simple, but it's hard.
Yeah.
It's simple, but not easy.
Right.
And those are the first things that get dropped off in real estate are those things. When you get busy, the first things that stop are social media posts, handwritten notes, going out to lunch with people because you're doing other busy things. And then you close those deals and you're like, well, where's my business? It's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
So,
the probably the biggest hindrance to people in social, or not in social media, but as real estate professionals, is when they do get busy, and how can they provide the same level of client care and constantly looking for people to raise their hand. All right, so good stuff. So
I got some questions for you. Okay.
Well, so we got to finish up. Purpose. What brings you purpose? What's your why?
My why? Well, one, my family. That's like number one why, by far. My wife's incredible. Like I said before, I wanted her to be at home. She loves our kids so well, and loved Rhodes, and then now we have 2.
Right.
Family first. Purpose of like just being able to give to people. Obviously, we're involved over at Southeast, and being able to just be generous and give to people and help people through situations and give to ministries and nonprofits that we love and like that. That's a lot of fun. And as you get to sell more, you get to give more, which is really, really fun.
Well, that's what I talked about this. Sometimes we talk about profit as being a bad thing.
Yeah.
Money's just a tool. It's a tool to allow you to do the things that you want to do in your life.
Yeah.
And if you're not sharpening, your ability to use that tool, then you're really, what's the point?
Yeah.
So
it's like I'm a charts guy, like old school charts. Like I draw like my BHAG 15 million, what are we going up to? And it's like my giving chart is like one of my favorite ones where it's like, man, like like today we just closed on one this morning. I get to go in and like highlight the section over the bar chart of where we're going. And it's like the giving side is just as fun of like, okay, this is where this is going and who we get to join in with and help out, and it's
Where
really
do
fun.
you? So are you a constant learner? Podcasts.
Yeah, I love
You said you read
podcasts.
Ninja
I'm not a huge reader.
Okay.
When I say read, I mean Audible. I think that goes without saying. Anybody that knows
I
me.
listen to books. Yeah, fair enough. All right, you had some questions for me.
Yeah,
We probably-
yeah.
we
Love.
got
What's your
about-
favorite
we got about 10
podcast?
minutes.
That's a good one. What's your favorite podcast?
My favorite podcast. Ooh,
This says a lot about a person, so answer carefully.
answer carefully. Honestly, I would say, Think Like a CEO by Gary Keller was the one that I probably listened to most consistently in the last year. I don't know that I actually have a favorite podcast right now. I just I do a lot of rabbit hole stuff. I'll see something on TikTok and then I'll go, Gary Brecka.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Are you an ice bath guy?
I love it. Yeah.
Oh, we can talk about this all day.
I've got 2 big ice blocks. Now, what I will
You
say
have
is
one at home?
I don't have a bath. I use my tub and drop
Yeah,
these
yeah,
2
yeah.
big ice blocks in it. The stuff that I've went down the rabbit hole with him on is like, it all makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I had done some genome testing maybe 3 years ago
Yeah.
and never followed up with it because it didn't make sense. But
Yeah.
he kind of brought it all together. I'm doing terrible, by the way. Full disclosure, I went from like the most rigid nighttime routine, morning routine,
Yeah.
felt the best of my life, and then a couple little things that are like speed bumps, and I can't get it squared away again. So
Yeah.
I'm on a path right now to get back into my morning
Start the
routine.
ice bath in the morning,
Yeah,
and
it
it
is.
jazzes you up
Yeah,
quick.
it does. It does.
I started that this last year. Oh
Okay.
my gosh, so fun.
Yeah.
So fun.
Yeah, so-
Okay, ice baths, interesting. Gary Brecka.
Yep.
You were saying something on another episode. Is the pursuit of comfort killing you? I thought that
That
was
was Gary
so
Brecka, too.
interesting.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Oh,
He
yeah,
said,
yeah. I have heard that.
Disease is the absence of oxygen, and
Yeah.
old age is the pursuit of comfort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like sitting in a 70-degree room, not doing anything is
Yeah.
killing you. Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've gotten, and I go back and forth because I'm like, dude, this is really hard. I want to just go back to the air conditioning, but doing stuff outside and getting sweaty, getting sore, getting tired.
Or do you do the sauna? Are you a sauna guy?
I'm not. I don't own a sauna, so I do have a steam bath though. So
That'll
I do
help.
I did this for a little bit. Is going ice bath,
Yeah.
cold, warm shower, ice bath, warm shower, and kind of get your blood flowing that way.
That's okay. So you coach baseball. Obviously, you played baseball. What levels did you play baseball?
I played just small college baseball.
Okay.
What
position?
Shortstop, middle infielder. I was a second base or a shortstop with a.
And are you from Louisville?
Yeah, went to Butler.
Oh, no way.
97. Yeah.
My mom went to Butler.
Did she really?
Yep. I don't know years or anything. I don't know. Bowman.
Bowman.
Yep.
There was a gym teacher. What did she teach? Or she went to. There's a gym teacher at Butler. Her last name was Stone.
Oh yeah. No. That's
so
my dad's side. He's from Cincinnati.
That's why I went down that hole. All right. What other
I love your
questions?
notes that you write down. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
I don't know
Just
why I
writes
am
down
now.
stone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't know why I do that. It's just been one of those. Like I will go back through here and go, what the heck was I even talking about?
Just tickles your mind enough to
Mm-hmm.
think like I should remember what that was said. Okay, so you guys have 3 kids.
Yep.
Awesome. And
I am retiring from coaching. Me coaching
really?
right now is just terrible.
do you see yourself in real estate the same way long term? And the same question you asked me.
No.
What's your long term goal for real estate?
Honestly, I'm in a season of my life where I'm transitioning, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably going to 100% get out of like production,
Yeah.
and get 100% into training.
Yeah.
Keller Williams has what's called master faculty, where
Mm-hmm.
all the fundamental courses that we teach, you have to have an approved trainer do it. And so I'm on that path right now. So I would see that's probably the next season of my life. We'll be doing that.
That's awesome.
We've done a lot of structuring with our team to leverage some opportunities so my wife can focus more on growing the team, and I don't have to focus as much on
Yeah.
growing the team. So I can step away from that.
And if you're doing stuff like this all the time, it's tough to
Right.
be fully in and
And that's what
growing a platform and a podcast and those type things.
And I'm a real big calendar guy. So there's a Rob Dyrdek,
I don't know him. No.
the skateboarder. Get on YouTube and look up Rob Dyrdek time management. He is psychotic about it. But
Have you seen the video?
which video?
You said time management of the guy. He's like, I wake up in the morning, 7 a.m. to noon is day 1. And then he's like, noon to 5 is...
That's Ed Milet, right?
No, it's a different guy. I know who Ed Milet is. He's like, noon to 5 is day 2, and 5 to midnight is day 3. So by the time you've had one day, I've had 3. And so, I mean, the internet is just, people are like sequencing it and putting their videos after. And I saw one the other day, there's a guy who's like, my day is 1 minute. So by the time that you've gone through one day, I've gone through 400 days. It's so funny. It's so funny.
That's funny.
Time management. Sorry, it made me think of that.
So like I was like, how do I build a calendar around this idea that I'm going to be a trainer? So I got to devote a lot more time to learning. That's
How many people you guys have on your team now?
16.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What's your goal for production for that 16 by the end of the year?
My basic goal is that everybody on our team can make at least $100,000 a year, which translates into about 100 million in volume, 365 transactions. If we do that, then we would have done enough volume where everybody does that. So
I saw you guys are top 10 in production right now. I saw the other day looking up. You guys are really high.
We show up weird on Glower because of we don't run everything through our team name. All of our agents get to keep.
Oh, no way!
Yeah,
that's cool.
So, we'll have. In the top 100, we've got 5 or 6 people.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is weird the way those numbers are run. Indiana's not tagged in there and all that.
Yeah.
Are you an Indiana agent?
I am not. My wife is, and we've got 3 other team members that are. And then we've got 1 team in Florida.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I would like to have 3 or my 5-year goal is to have 8 teams in 8 different markets.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be fun. And then I'd have to travel and. Hopefully,
you'd have to go down to Florida during the winter. It'd be horrible.
We have a team in Key West, a team in Fort Lauderdale, a team in Miami.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we'll see. We're really getting it. We've got a great group of. Our team is spectacular. My wife has always said, she's like, I don't want a bunch of donkeys. I want a bunch of thoroughbreds. And I think we definitely have that. So. And
it's fun. The one thing I was going to hit on that we touched on early is the reason why I feel like if you have new agents listening to this or someone who's new, and I wrote it down to talk on when I was saying that 6-month segment, if you're okay with me going back, is when you get your license, it's not like there's like AA, AAA, single A. You are in the big leagues automatically and you get dropped in the deep end.
Yep.
And if you can compete with the people who are big time, selling a bunch, all the big names,
right,
and you can do that, and you can at least make it through for a year or 2.
Right.
You have staying power.
Yep.
And so that's the thing to just push through. If you're an agent, quit your second job, go all in. I mean, obviously, I know there's different things. Yeah, there's different family reasons why some people can't.
Have you ever heard burn the boats?
Yeah, burn the ships.
Yep.
Like
you don't have a choice.
What are you going to do when you can't go back? And it's like that's the fun thing on being a new agent is you're dropped in the deep end, and I'm competing. I'm competing versus guys like you who sell a ton and who have a bunch of knowledge. And
I don't sell a ton. It's my wife. My wife's the talent. She just won't get on camera.
But so like that's the fun thing is the encouraging side to it is it's hard, but it can be rewarding, and if you can push through hard seasons, you can be good at this job.
I'm gonna push back on you a little bit. It's not a job. It's your business.
Yeah, true.
And whether you're on a team or whatever, you're just leveraging what other parts to do your own business, and that's what gets me excited. So
I'm glad we disagreed on something. No,
exactly.
Maybe we won't be friends after this.
We started it. It was just me and my wife, and then somebody convinced us to hire an admin. Well, that admin's one of our tenured agents and one of our best agents. Then we hired her mom, and then as an admin, and her mom's now one of our best agents, and now her husband quit and is now one of our best agents. So I geek out. I just love sitting back and watching people grow and knowing how much is 12 years ago my wife and I were we weren't destitute or anything like that, but what this business has done for us in short 12 to 15 year span of us together and growing in this business.
And the amount of people you've been able to serve. You probably have 10 stories like that one for me where it's like people you added extreme value that they would not be in their dream house that they are today, or they would have not been able to sell their house and get what they needed to get out of it for whatever their next step was. That's what makes the difference.
I've got 6 kids that I taught in high school that I put in houses.
No way. That's awesome. Where'd you teach at?
I started at Frost Middle School. Then I went to Southern High School.
Okay.
Then I was an administrator at Wagner and Seneca.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So those are probably the coolest ones.
That's got to be awesome.
Yeah. There's one kid that he was a knucklehead. He'll admit it, but I wouldn't say he's one of my best friends, but he still calls me. We still stay in touch. He just had a baby.
That's funny.
It's really cool. So, all right, we got 5 minutes left. Actually, about 3 minutes left. Anything else?
I like I said, I could talk all day, so it doesn't matter to me. You hit on something where you said being famous in your field when you and Michael were chatting through it, which I think is such a when you do social media the right way, it's not a famous might not be the correct term for it, but when you can be known in your field and you go all in, that's when I'm thinking through why I've seen success in the last year. It's because I'm not halfway in. Right. When people see me, they know people make fun of me because I split up my Instagram pages. I have a fishing page.
Do you really?
I have a fishing page. I have a personal page. I have a real estate page.
Do you really?
Yeah, I split them all up. And so, because it's like people who see my fishing stuff don't want to see every house I sell. And people see every house I sell don't want to see pictures of my kids. And it's like real people who love me and know me well, they follow all three and enjoy it. But the fun thing is when you go all in, people know I like to fish. People know I like to golf. That's great. But they know I truly love real estate and that I am working on it every single day. And if they've played golf with me, they know I take 3 calls around and it usually messes up my game and I double bogey a hole because I'm frustrated over a phone call I just got. And it's like, that's what's fun is go all in, go all in, go all in. Don't go halfway. Make yourself no one's going to make yourself the professional. Right. Dig in, watch YouTube videos, figure things out, learn, pick up the phone and call people and ask questions. And it's like, you might ask some stupid questions. I've asked a bunch, but just do it. And in the end,
well, the repetition builds confidence, right? And whatever you're doing, whether you're lead generating, cold calling, door knocking, hosting open houses, doing social media, the more times you do it, the better you're going to get at it. The number one indicator for me for success, and you kind of alluded to it, but I'm going to put a bow around it, is consistency. And I've always, the talented person in my relationship is my wife. And everybody's like, well, how did she become so successful? And her and I struggle with, I don't know. We didn't come from entrepreneurs. We came from a low middle class family. But what I watched and realized is she showed up every single day to work on real estate. And, granted, I gave her some air cover because I was teaching, taking care of kids and stuff like that. But you got to wake up every morning to be a real estate professional. You can't wake up.
I tell people, I'm like, if you just want to be in the top 10% of hardworking agents, just check the hot sheet every day. If you do that, you're doing more than 90% of agents. And it's like people, I'm not competing versus every other agent in town. I'm competing versus the wife who wants to move, who's in bed at midnight, 1 a.m. scrling through Zillow on what just listed. That's who's working against me because she's finding houses. That's who I'm competing against.
That's one of my things that drives me crazy. Is like I never want a client to send me the house that they go under contract on. Like that's the basic,
agreed.
The basic
agreed. I hate
of my
it.
job is to find you.
And I do this, and I'll probably have a text afterwards where somebody's like, "Hey, did you see this house that just listed?" I'm like, "Tack on it, Jimmy."
Sam, dude, I appreciate it. We're gonna have to play around the golf.
Can't wait.
And I look forward to being on your podcast.
Well, we'll see. I don't know. I got to figure it out. It'll be fun. But thanks for having me. Seriously, this is such a cool setup, and Michael and everything that's going on it's fun and honored to do it. So thanks for your time.
Episode 5 of the No Name Podcast. Do you got a name? If you could put a name to this.
I don't know.
All right.
I'm not good with names, so
there's going to be a guest that's going to give us a name that's going to go, wow, that's it.
Wow.
So that's what we'll wait for. All right. I appreciate it.
Thanks,
See y'all.